I remember at the beginning of the season, I said that Liverpool had an Avengers level threat team that would maul everybody. Okay, maybe those weren't my exact words, but close enough. And now I'm beginning to think a little bit differently about this team. It gets to a point where you can't say it's too early to tell. Liverpool have lost 6 out of their last 7 games, and you have to wonder what really went wrong that the Reds have become so below standard. Because on paper, all of these names in the starting 11 at the very least have had great seasons last year. So yeah, like, subscribe, and tell me what you think of Liverpool at this moment. After winning the league comfortably, Arne Slot's Liverpool side had their eyes on a few big name targets, such as Milos Kerkez, Florian Wirtz, and Alexander Isak for a total of 500 million euros spent. Not just those 3 combined. I'm pretty sure there was a lot more. But anyways, still a lot for one summer. It's safe to say some of these transfers were easier to negotiate than others. Kerkez came in easily to replace an aging Andy Robertson at left back. Jeremy Frimpong replaced the Anfield Judas Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Giorgio Mamardashvili from Valencia to be the number 2 goalkeeper. Getting to the more challenging negotiations, Hugo Ekitike comes in as one of the world's best young strikers after the loss of Diogo Jota, and Florian Wirtz for 150 million euros. I still find it crazy that Ekitike was only brought in because they were almost not about to get their main target, Alexander Isak. The entire summer was based around him, as he would go on strike at Newcastle, who wouldn't let him go because they would get rejected by all of the hot property strikers, including Ekitike, until the end of the transfer window. And as far as individual performances go, you would expect a 150 million euro striker to start and play well. Neither of those things happened, but does it really lie on 1 or 2 players, or is there something else that's hindering the team's performance? Sure, Liverpool were winning their games at the beginning of the season, but they got scarily close to losing their leads. In game week 1, Bournemouth had been close to coming back. Give them 20 minutes and the score would be tied. And if it wasn't for an absolute worldie from Dominic Szoboszlai, they would draw against Arsenal and drop points in a title race against them. Also, Marcos Llorente with Atletico Madrid put a 2022 World Cup Mbappe-esque performance against them in the Champions League, carrying Atletico on his back, but still not winning in the end. Also, how do you almost lose against Southampton? Hugo Ekitike scored in the 85th minute only to get sent off a minute later because he took off his shirt. These have all been in the dying minutes of the game, so you know their luck was about to run out. And run out it did, as the tables were turned against CP, Crystal Palace of course, as Ismail Assar scored the winner in the 97th minute, followed by a Champions League loss against Galatasaray, which is surprising. Then you've got Chelsea with Esteval scoring late. But the real nail in the coffin was losing against Manchester United at home. And you're not gonna believe this, but this one was a late winner as well. What a humiliating way to go out. Actually, I'm gonna go and believe that Arne Slot was doing the rest of the league a favor by saving Ruben Amorim's job, so the rest of the league can beat his United side down, giving free points every year like it's charity. I can respect everything else but that match, bro. That's when you know things are bad. You can't beat Manchester United. Also, they did lose to Brentford somehow. A Brentford side that I said would get relegated, by the way. Last year, they lost 4 Premier League games all season, near the end when they couldn't be bothered to care. Not 9 weeks in, which can determine the rest of their season. Now, to top it all off, you lose the 3rd match in a row against Crystal Palace in the League Cup. Okay, so that's the Community Shield, then you got in the league, and then now you have in the League Cup, bro. That's just 3 competitions you can't lose to the same team in. Why would Slot play a bunch of kids my age against this team as well? These guys did not learn their lesson from the last 2 times. Ismail Assar is actually their owner. You know, when your girl posts you and all of the guys are in the comments saying, "Where did I go wrong?" or "She's with him for the money," that feeling applies when these two play. There's only one team that can constantly just beat Liverpool over and over again, but nobody else can. That alone should demonstrate the massive drop-off in quality. Trust me. This was just the first phase of Liverpool molestation. Villa at home, and even though they got off to a shaky start and now on a roll, winning their last 6 games and recently beating Man City, Liverpool should get the win here, but anything goes really. Real Madrid in the Champions League, with Madrid winning, especially with Mbappe, who can go band for band at being the best striker in the world right now. Finally, Man City this year isn't the Man City from last year, as we've made significant upgrades, and one loss shouldn't set us back. The Etihad isn't an easy place to go and get 3 points. points. In other words, we winning that game. If Liverpool lose all of those games, is it safe to say that Arne Slot has to go? Trick question. If you think that he has to go already, you're out of your damn mind. Every manager has their bumpy phase. Pep had it, Mourinho had it, Fergie had it, Slot will have it too. Remember, he inherited a team mostly built by Jurgen Klopp, so when he wants to change the team to his philosophy of football, it's gonna take time. But the hard part about managing a football club is that he's gonna have to multitask here, focusing on the present and building for the future when the Klopp core eventually fades, which I think Slot can go in the right direction with. As I've said before, King Von level threat type of team, right? It may look that way, but watching them seems to tell me otherwise. Honestly, I haven't watched every game from this team, but some of these players are not playing well. Alisson, the best player on that team right now, gets his yearly autumn injury. Virgil van Dijk looks a tiny bit shakier than before as he becomes more dependent on letting his aura defend, and Ibrahima Konate does not want to be there, let's be real. Milos Kerkez has lost his damn mind. Very rash when it comes to decision making. He'll just throw out a wild tackle whenever he feels like it. On the other side, Jeremy Frimpong was brought in to replace Trent Alexander-Arnold to be a starter, but only played 2 games, with the rest being replaced by either Connor Bradley or Dominic Szoboszlai. Whenever he wasn't injured, he wasn't playing, so I don't think we can really use that as an excuse. I just think that's a bit of a waste of money, isn't it? The midfield is the best part of the team, except for one guy who hasn't exactly got off to a flying start. I think we all know who I'm talking about. Florian Wirtz. For 150 million euros, there has to be some sort of result, as he really went 10 games without a goal or an assist. Ryan Cherky has had the same amount of goal contributions, and he's only played 6 games, which he hasn't started in 4 of them, but it could be worse, right? It really can. Mo Salah has fallen off. He wasn't as sharp as last season, and for a player of his stature, he's been relatively quiet. I can tell because I kept him in my FPL team, hoping it's just a one-off ghosting, but once I sold him, I saw better results instantly. Let's just say the internet bullied Mo Salah so hard that he deleted everything Liverpool off of his socials. And finally, the icing on the cake, Alexander Isak. He did not have to do all that boycotting training stuff and play the preseason, as he's super out of form right now. Only 1 goal and an assist in 8 games. That is far from what he's capable of at Newcastle, even at this early stage. I also can't get over this image of him training. You should have probably just done preseason and waited for your time to come when Newcastle got a replacement. That also explains why you were excluded from the squad for the first few games, one of them being because you're not fit. The crazy thing is, Nick Voltemada, his replacement, is doing a lot better than Isak. Could have been you, bro. Just saying. Isak is also injured again. He is not the only striker the Reds have bought this season either. Ekitike seems to be a much greater fit, as he's not injury prone, and guess what? He scores goals. I know, shocker, but I feel like, for me, it's one or the other. You can't have both and expect them to be happy and performing at their peaks at the same time. And that leads us to today. In the table, they're 7th with 15 points, with the surprising appearances of Man United, Bournemouth, and Sunderland above them. Why did I say Sunderland were going to get relegated? In the long run, that stuff shouldn't matter too much, but they should focus more on catching up to Arsenal in the race, who are on 22 points. They're just in too good of a form, even if it means playing a 5-5-0 and scoring off dead balls every game. You gotta do what you gotta do, even if it's not super glamorous. Liverpool have to lock in fast and win every single one of their next games and hope Arsenal slip up here and there. The Gunners probably don't want to choke again, as they've experienced the pain of second place in the last 3 years? But yeah, next international break, back to the drawing board for Slot, I guess. Also, the comment after the Palace loss is actual BS. Talking about no squad depth. You spent $500 million on players. Just give it a rest, man. And yeah, that is gonna do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, share this with a Liverpool fan that may be interested in why their team is so bad. And I almost forgot, but it's Halloween as the day I'm recording this, so happy Halloween to y'all, I guess. And yeah, have a good day, and peace.